Alright, here is a Plymouth Colt 1991. It was suggested that I make a video of this because this is kind of an unusual circumstance. It's not a right-hand drive, but it does have the booster on the right side. It is a left-hand drive, but the booster's on the right. And there's an arm that comes from this booster. There's an actual gusset up inside the dash here with an actual push rod, and it goes all the way across to the brake pedal. And then the brake pedal, when you push it in, it actually actuates the arm this way. It's kind of a unique feature. But anyway, customer complains of a misfire, and looks like they've done a tune-up, and they've done an oxygen sensor, looks like down below, brand new oxygen sensor, and then cap and rotor. So first thing I did was did a quick test for the basically just pull the plug wires, make them loose. I put them back on already, but I just put them just barely on, and then I'll take my little plastic pliers here, and then as it's running I can just pull each plug wire off to see which cylinder's not contributing. And what we found was cylinder number 2 was at fault. So pulled the plug out, and it was of course soaked in gasoline. Then put a compression gauge on there to see kind of what our compression was doing, and it was low. We had 65 psi on number 2 and 125 on the rest. So naturally you think, well, 225,000 miles, it's possible that it's just basically got a bad valve or something else happened to it. What I found was this. I went through and did the compression test as it sat, and I noticed that after a while the compression started to come up a little bit. At first it came up to 90, then it came up to 100, and I thought for sure something's not right, and that spark plug was excessively wet. So went through and this is all suggested after the fact. I'll show you what I've done. With the spark plug being completely wet, and spark is good here, it should dry the plug off. What I found is, with the Noid light attached, cylinder 1 here would flash, but cylinder 2 would not flash. This is cylinder 2 wires, and it just simply wouldn't flash at all. So we checked out, and what they've done, you can see on this wire here, and it's a bit dark. Let me get a light here so you can see better. Basically you've got a red wire there and a looks like a yellow, and then right here, I'll just plug that in for you. Same thing, you've got a red wire with what looks like a yellow and black, red wire and green right there. And what we found is that this cylinder number 2 was not turning on the Noid light, but the red wire does have 12 volts to it. So that makes me think, okay, computer. So what I did was I'm using Kirchhoff's law, and Kirchhoff's law in somewhere states that if you apply a voltage to a wire, you should have the same voltage coming out the other side. So what I did, I've got a little spotlight right there, and me get this hooked up for you. And it's taken me just a second to kind of get things because I'm doing it one-handed. So we've got spotlight, and there's your spotlight. And you can see it's shining at the ceiling. So what I did was hooked everything up, battery hooked up. I've got the positive side of the spotlight here, and the negative side. What I did here was I used my injector pinout connector, and I just touched that to this side and plugged that into this yellow connector right here on this side. And then come in here where the computer is mounted. And that computer is mounted just right up in here inside of this kick panel. So basically this is the 9-pin connector here, and you can see the wire that I found is the yellow with the black stripe. It's here on, and get a good look at it here. Pin number 52. It's right there, you can see it. So I was able to hook my small jumper wire up to the ground, which I had the ground hooked up. And sorry, this is all after the fact, but anyway, and I was able to go in through this pin, this second pin, and I was able to jump that wire right there, and that little spotlight out there came on. So let me show you how that works. Alright, so basically the way this works, ignition, when you turn the ignition on, you've got power to one side of the injector, and then as you crank the engine over, the PCM actually grounds this wire here through what's called an injector driver, and inside here it's a solid state driver, and then it runs through the ground. So I've got the PCM. There's the cover for it, and this is the PCM itself in all its glory. And it's pretty complicated. You know, I wouldn't want to go fishing around there with a test light or something. That'd probably burn it up. But what I found is right here where that little pen mark is. Straight down is that pin 52. This is number 2. You can see that's a 1, that's 2, 3, and a 4, and they're in Roman numerals. Cylinder number 2, and you can see this is the power wire going up to the ignition switch, and this is the ground side, and you can see the solid state circuitry that they're talking about inside the MPI control unit, which is basically a PCM or a engine control computer. So there's pin 52. So that's your pin 52. Right straight down from there. So if I follow that back, so if I don't get that too bright, right here is pin 52. So I trace that out and follow that around through the back side, and it comes to 1, 2, 3. I've always got to recheck it myself just to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Turn my light different ways so you can see. Alright, so each one of these 3 sections here, that's a driver. There's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, and there's 5. So the driver we're looking at is 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth driver in. There's another driver there too. As you can see, all 4 of the black drivers. You see each one. There's 1 there, there's 2, 3, 4, and then this green one in the back. But what I found is if you look in there real close, try to get that light set up so you can see. It looks like it's burned up right there. There's the other driver. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 drivers. And I don't think they're actually in line. It's not like they're cylinder 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think it's just wired in a different way. But you can see down inside there, it looks as though that driver is burned up. It's gotten hot somehow. Possibly it's a shorted injector. Now we'll show you this. This is a Thexton injector pulse tester, and basically all it does is it's got 12 volts coming through here, and then this wire plugs into the injector, and you can turn the injector on and off, or you can simulate a pulse. And what I was able to do is, with this unit plugged into this injector number 2 right down here, I was able to get it to intermittently pulse okay, and it started running fine. And we got some random cattage. There's Poppy. Hi, Poppers. What you doing? Good kitty. Good kitty. She wants to help, huh, Poppers? Anyway, so that's what we found. By using this pulse tester, we were able to get a little power to that injector, and it smoothed out until, you know, this is not in sync with the computer. So it still runs on 3 cylinders, but we're going to have to put a computer in it. And I just wanted to show you all that. She's good kitty, huh, Poppers? Oh, good baby girl. Yes, you are.